What's up, everybody? Christian from the Lay and Pray MMA podcast, joined as always by Trent. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
It goes. And then hopefully Jeffrey will be here shortly. Sound like he was going to be in. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure to comment down below, like the channel, hit that notification bell so you can see when we post videos. Again, trying to be as consistent as possible. It's just kind of hard with, personal life and stuff going on. So we'll try and get videos out as much as possible and as quick as possible for you guys. If you're listening to us in not in Spotify, but in podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, or Stitcher, thank you so much. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and check out our Facebook page as well, which is Lay and Pray MMA podcast for both of those. Coming off of a good last weekend of fights, there was really only one fight that I could think of that I was kind of like, that was lackluster. So even the prelims were good.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess that's where we can start. We could talk about UFC 267 and just what were your thoughts, Trenton?
I absolutely loved the entire card. I think it was probably one of the best cards of the year, and I couldn't believe that it wasn't a pay-per-view. Like the way they did that for Halloween or whatever they did and pulled that out of their ass. I was completely surprised and it was a joy. Like that whole fight card was a joy. Like we haven't done H-bomb ratings in a long time, but like I give that like a 4.8. Like it was a high.
I give it a high.
It's a high card for me.
Honestly,
I liked everything but the heavything fight.
The heavyweights, Marcin Tybura and Alexander Volkov, I was like, fuck. Like, because I was expecting like a slugfest.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of assumed Volkov with his experience and the guys that he's fought, it would be the biggest difference in that fight. And it was just so slow paced.
I thought he was going to bring the pace. I thought he was going to push the action and put on a pace that he hasn't been able to put on against a lot of guys, or that like Tybura hasn't been able to do.
Yeah,
keep up, and that wasn't the case. So I was very disappointed in that fight. Jeffrey's here.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Sorry, guys. Hey, as always, having fucking audio difficulties, dude.
It's all good.
I can hear you now. I can hear you through your headset. Cool. So
cool, man.
Jeffrey, I know that you said you were pretty busy last weekend, so you didn't really get a chance to watch the card last weekend, but I'm sure you've seen some stuff in terms of just results. I haven't really said anything yet in reference to UFC 267, but did you have any thoughts on anything that you saw in terms of last week's card?
No, dude, even if I did, like, I didn't watch it with a keen enough eye to really have an opinion on anybody or to shit on something,
Yeah.
I know. Like I didn't. I've heard that some of the fights were really good, and then I think it was the main card or the main event sucked or something. I don't remember what it was.
The heavyweight.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Yeah.
The main event was
like
good.
That, but
yeah.
The main event was good. The main event was good. The co-main was fire. The fucking Khamzat Chimaev fight was fucking amazing. Dan Hooker fight was great. All these things were, for as long as they lasted.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Okay, so Chris, you asked me. I'll go back on that and just say like me, just like everybody else, is back upon the Chimaev train, right? Like,
yes.
I never got off, really.
Yeah.
I was just hoping the COVID thing, because you guys remember that he was saying he was like real fucked up
retired.
from it.
He retired.
Yeah,
he said that he was retiring. It was the president of Chechnya, this fucking dictator-led country that was like, no, that's not going to happen. And it's like,
just loves UFC, like
and loves Khamzat Chimaev. So
he's like, or you just die, like one of the two, you fight or die, basically.
We're gonna fucking save this man.
Yeah.
He's a national treasure.
I must break you. If he dies, he dies. So I think for me, like, in terms of my 5 picks last week, I picked I did the Amanda Hebus and Verna Jandiroba fight just because I like Rob Schneider. So I did that fight pick, and I picked Jandiroba to win, but she just got outclassed. Like in terms of total strikes, it was pretty close, but in terms of significant strikes, it wasn't even close. Amanda Ribas, she just landed way more significant strikes. She controlled the fight, and you could tell that she was in control, and she's back to her winning ways on Fight Island. She did really good on Fight Island last time, and it continues. So in the light heavyweight division, starting in the main card, Volkan Oezdemir fought Magomed Ankalaev, and Ankalaev looked like every bit of a stud that he is. And I honestly forgot that he fought Paul Craig and was taking the shit out of Paul Craig.
No, not he didn't
Up
fight. I was thinking of a different one.
Up until the last second of the fight, and Paul Craig
cinched it.
Yeah. So, I mean, but he was winning that fight literally for 4 minutes and 50 seconds, and then got caught. So that's his lone loss. But he's a beast in the light heavyweight division. All those guys from Dagestan or Russia, you just can't sleep on them because they're so talented and they have no quit.
They're built different.
They are. They're absolutely built different. And, you know, the fact that the stuff that they do for fun, it blows me away. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, in the welterweight division, obviously, Khamzat Chimaev fought Li Jingliang and beat him with a round 1 submission and put him to sleep. And he just looked absolutely fantastic. Obviously, that's what I was worried about, was the longer the fight goes, I was more worried about Khamzat just because it affects your, you know, COVID really affects your your lungs big time. So, and the fact that he had to deal with it twice, it was kind of a concern. But he did his job. He went in there. I mean, he picked up Li Jingliang and was talking to Dana White the whole time.
He was yelling at Dana White because Dana White looked at his phone and he's like, "Oh, Dana, don't be looking at your phone when I fucking fight, homie." Like, it's over, dog. He said, "I'll fight Brock Lesnar. I'll fight anybody in the UFC. I don't give a fuck. I'm already the champ, dude."
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
And
this guy.
He's the type of guy that it's hard not to like.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he does have a lot of character, but you can tell that he's also humble, even though but he's just so confident in himself that, like, I mean, I would be too. He absolutely put Li Jingliang to sleep with a submission.
Every single time that dude has stepped in the cage, every fucking time somebody's like, well, he can't do that again. Yeah. He fucking does it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just fucks on dudes. It's crazy.
He's got more fights in the UFC than anybody's thrown punches at him in a fight.
Yeah. He has 4 fights in the UFC. He's 1 strike has been thrown.
Yeah, that's insane.
And it's like, that's disgusting. That's so unfair.
And he's thrown like 243 or some shit.
Yeah.
And
just his opponents have thrown 1.
That's what happens when you let kids like wrestle bears and shit, you know, like growing up.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I really don't have anything to say about the heavyweight fight other than what we've said already. I really felt like that really slowed the pace down quite a bit because it was at a good pace and it was fun. And then it just was like, holy fuck.
Honestly, that should have been the main event on the undercard, if I'm being honest. Like, it should not have been on the fucking main card at all. I don't think.
The only reason
they
why
had set such a pace from all the fights before that. And even like, you shouldn't throw a heavyweight fight in between all these lighter guys that are just fucking exciting, you know?
But the thing is that you can't dictate. It's not like, you know, going in, you're like, oh, these guys are really going to fucking slow it down. Because you look
not
at
only
Colby
that was a like a big fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't put him down on the undercard. Like,
I mean,
what?
Volkov is ranked 5th.
You know,
Volkov's ranked 5th. Tybura was 8th or 9th at the time. Yeah. Also, another thing in that fight, the Zaleski dos Santos versus Benoit Saint Denis. We almost watched a murder happen.
Yeah,
because a referee didn't do his fucking job, and then he got pulled.
For the rest of the night.
That was in the preliminary card, so that was pretty atrocious. That was, I mean, 10 times more atrocious than the heavyweight fight, but The
I mean,
heavyweight fight was
the next
pretty
ref
bad.
almost let it happen again, but
Yeah.
he didn't.
Yeah.
He ended up catching himself or whatever. But
Yeah, he brought himself back to reality.
yeah, I was like, holy shit, dude! These refs are looking for fucking Mortal Kombat tonight, dude. It's a fucking finish him, like
finish him.
It's fucking wild.
Fatality.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
The fight that I honestly like, I was glad because it was a dominant performance, but I really thought it was going to be like the people's fight, like kind of like what this in this next pay-per-view, the Justin Gaichi Michael Chandler. I was really thinking that Islam versus Dan Hooker was going to be like a people's fight, like the people's main event.
I thought it was going to be competitive.
Yeah, dude, that literally was 2 minutes and 25 seconds of takedown, dominate the ground game, dominate top control, put you in a fucking Kimura, and then submitted him with a arm behind Kimura. So just one of those fucking things, man. He's Islam is so good and so talented, and I really think he does. If he deserves to be a number one contender in a number one contender fight after that performance.
I agree. I think he does need to be in a number one contender fight after the Gaichi and Michael Chandler fight. I think that they deserve the next shot after Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
And then after those guys, it's him versus maybe Beneil Dariush or something for the number one contender. See who fights for the title. Like,
why doesn't he take the loser?
I mean, you could, but like you got a guy that's on a 9-fight win streak versus the fucking
guy
loser
who's coming off of a loss.
Yeah,
but you got Beneil Dariush, who's one of the top guys. Like Beneil's 3
and unscheduled.
Yeah, and he has nobody to fight. That would be a fun ground game.
Yeah,
like that would be
both great grapplers. It's a real test.
The scrambles I think would be fun in that fight.
Or it'd be another complete domination, and there's your title shot.
Yeah, there you go.
So
you've solidified it.
Yeah.
But I really see Islam dominating that fight. I don't see Beneil dominating that fight. I would see it Islam dominating.
I think Islam is way too strong for Beneil. I think Beneil's deceptively strong. He doesn't look it, but he is because he's a strong grappler and shit.
Yeah.
But I just think Islam is on another level. I mean, but make the fight and let's find out,
Yeah. In the co-main event, you had Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen for the bantamweight, the interim bantamweight title. Honestly, I thought it should have been just the bantamweight title.
Yeah.
Because I really have a hard time seeing Aljamain as, the solidified champ and unified champ. But Peter Yan, he had a great game plan. I had it, after 2 rounds, I had it 1-1. But then Peter Yan just kind of pulled away slowly. He controlled the pace. He controlled the fight. He was the one applying the pressure the whole time. He had Corey on his back foot. And I honestly, I chose Corey to win this fight because I really thought, even though it was like short notice, it was still like 6 weeks. And that's a pretty good fight camp and at high elevation. That's, he's already in great shape to begin with. But Corey just couldn't put it together. And even at the end, Daniel Cormier asked him, like, do you feel like you did enough to win the fight? And he's like, honestly, no, not like I don't feel like I did enough to win that fight. And, obviously it's great to see that he's true to himself and he's not going to try and blow smoke and try to convince himself like I got screwed. Because Peter Yan, I think everybody that knows what they're talking about was like, yeah, that fight was won by Yan. He just had the better performance. If you look at strikes, it's pretty similar. And I think Corey ended up landing more strikes and he got the only takedown in the fight, but he didn't do anything with it. It was pretty lackluster in terms
that fight was majority won by like cage control. Like Peter Yan was pushing forward the whole fucking time,
and he pushed
Corey Sandhagen had to go backwards.
Yeah,
and Corey doesn't. I mean, he's not bad at it, but he'd rather move forward.
Yeah.
That was one that there. I got 2 fights wrong. I know we didn't post our predictions to each other or whatever, but I got that fight wrong because I wanted Corey Sandhagen to win. And I also got the main event wrong. Jan
Blachowicz
and Glover. Yeah. I didn't think Glover was going to win, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 I got wrong on this card.
obviously Aljamain Sterling is going to fight Pewter at some point to unify that title.
Is
And
it
then
obvious though? I don't think he's got it in him.
I think he will, but I think Pewter's going to win, and then I think he's going to fight TJ Dillashaw, and I think TJ is going to get his belt back. Honestly,
that's a fight I want to see. I prefer that fight over Aljamain.
Yeah, well, we already watched Aljamain get his ass kicked by Pewter for 3.5 rounds before he got illegally kneed. Jeffrey, do you have any thoughts on that coming?
Nah, man. Like I said, dude, I wish I could have paid more attention to it just to break it down a bit. But from everything that I heard from you guys and everybody that I checked on Twitter said that Jan looked fucking phenomenal. And it wasn't that Corey looked like shit. It was just that Jan looked
better.
Great.
Yeah.
He took everything
and on a different night, maybe Sandhagen throws something different at him or something. But they said that, like that night was not really in question. Like Jan's, he looked better.
See, and there's been like some, obviously a majority. I think that's the biggest thing that I always bring up is like controversial. Like almost every fucking fight card that we talk about, I'm always like, I didn't have it scored that way. Like that's pretty controversial, but there wasn't a single fight on this card that I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like they all made sense.
Other than the beatings.
That didn't make sense because I was like, we're literally watching somebody get murdered out here.
Like that dude had to go to the hospital immediately. 100%.
Yeah. And then in the main event, light heavyweight championship, Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira, the ageless wonder. Glover looked dominant from the start.
That man.
He looked absolutely sensational. Like he wasn't ever in trouble. He pushed the pace. He pushed the action. He took Jan down in the first round. He did it again in the second round, and he just completely controlled. The one thing that I thought was weird was as soon as he locked in the rear naked choke, Jan tapped. And I don't know if it's because he's like, I don't want to go out, or if it's because like he got hurt, like he hurt his jaw or something, and it was just super painful.
I think he just knew it was over.
Yeah. Well, he got completely outclassed.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, and this is the saddest part, this is like a time period where I look at Jan, it's like the guy's like 38. And I really don't think he's gonna, like, he got absolutely dominated by Glover. And
can I just ask you something real quick though?
Sure.
Before you go ahead, wouldn't we have said the exact same thing about Glover like 3 days ago? You know what I mean? Like no, so but because I always say that about him, I'm like, well, dude, I mean, the thing about heavyweights is you just never know, dude. Like that's the one division. Heavyweights,
they're light heavyweight.
Even. Or sorry, light heavyweights, but heavyweights more even. But like, even light heavyweight, like, dude, you could fucking bang forever.
So this is what I'm gonna say. Last time that Glover fought for a title was like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So he was 32 or 33. That's still relatively in your fight prime. The only reason that it got derailed is because he fought guys like Rumble when he got knocked out in like 12 seconds because everybody was getting starched by him except for fucking Daniel Cormier and Alexander Gustafsson, who was still on a tear at the time. So the only reason why that whole path got derailed and he had to keep restarting is because he was fighting guys that were just in way better shape, way younger, way hungrier. But then he figured it out. My thing is that you look at Jan, he won the title late in terms of his age. He won it late. Like obviously Glover is in the same boat, 42. 42. But the thing is that Jan, we've seen him get knocked out like by Thiago Santos at 205, and we've watched fucking Glover get knocked out too. But we watched Glover also take some serious fucking damage and come back and dominate fights. Look what he did to Ion Cutelaba. Look what he did to Anthony Smith. Look what he did to Robertson. There's so many times that he's been in trouble and he's turned it around and he's won the fight. This is what I'm going to say about Jan, and then I'll say the same thing, kind of reiterate the same thing about Glover. Jan, I don't see him getting back to a title shot before he gets before he retires or released from the UFC, because my guess is that his next fight, I'll say that he's probably going to fight Anthony Smith.
Yeah, I was just going to say
Anthony Smith probably, or Alexander Rakic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Glover Teixeira is going to fight Yuri Prochazka next, and he's going to lose.
I think so too.
So there is no, like, both of those guys, kudos to them because they both got a title. But this is your, at least Jan defended it once, but he defended it against a middleweight. So,
but a middleweight champ.
Yeah, but it's still.
I give him props for that. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but he's still so much bigger than Izzy. So kudos to Glover. He, like I said, he's the ageless wonder, 42 years young, and he looked absolutely sensational. You can't think of a better guy who earns it more than him, who has gone through what he's gone through. And, because he's always been right there. The dude's only got 7 losses. He's got 33 wins and 7 losses. And you look at his 7 losses, John Jones, Rumble, Alexander Gustafsson. And then I honestly don't even remember off the top of my head the other 4. Oh, I can't think of it. Corey Anderson. That was another one. So the way that I view it, it's awesome for those guys, but I still I really don't see them being they're not top tier. I don't look at those guys and be like, yeah, they're dominant like John Jones, because they're not.
Well, the thing about 205 is that cover's not going to be bare forever.
No,
it's going to have its comeuppance. You know what I'm saying? That's the fucking bread and butter. For some strange reason, it's just not right now, but it fucking always is. Yeah, and they're gonna get some kids come in here and start starching motherfuckers.
That's where you get your fucking Lyoto Machitas, your fucking
exactly. Yeah. So I totally agree with you, Chris. I totally agree with you. I was just asking because I would have said the same thing about Teixeira. It's like I don't think he's gonna make it back. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter because I don't think Jan is neither, but I don't think that neither of them are going to be able to keep up with that younger crop whenever the fuck they pop up.
Well, I honestly think that neither one of those guys are the top of the division, even though they were champs. They
were the champs, and
I don't think they're the top. I think
I know why they're champs because I think they did it right. They should be champs.
I think the stars just aligned for them to be champions. I don't think they're the best in that weight class right now.
John Jones fucking left. Yeah, that was the star. That was the fucking sun that aligned with the rest of the stars. That was it, because John Jones leaving, you can't tell me Jan Blachowicz was not going to beat John Jones.
No. Not even. I don't even think it'd be a competitive
fucking
fight.
Glover Teixeira's already fought John Jones and lost, and John Jones
his shoulder out of his fucking socket.
And John Jones was way more dominant. Recently before and Glover obviously looked really fucking good and got a finish in a title fight, which is hard to do.
It's going to be that Yuri and Rakic or something like that. It's going to be those guys.
Dominic Reyes, I really feel like Dominic Reyes, as soon as he can, what he needs is a fucking break. He's doing it right. He's taking a break. He said, I'm not even planning on coming back anytime until 2022.
Well, that's smart, man. He got
he took so much fucking damage in that Yuri fight.
Yeah.
But he also dealt
and the Jan fight.
He lost. That's what I'm saying. The past couple fights, he got fucked on.
He got fucked on twice in a row.
Yeah,
pretty hard.
Jan and Yuri.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a good fight for Yuri again because he rocked the fuck out of Yuri.
That up kick
right before he got slept.
I think he knocked out Yuri, but Yuri came to once because he got up kicked fucking hard.
Yeah.
And even Dominic said that. He's like, I'm pretty sure that he got knocked out, but he's just a beast. And he came to after, it was a quick recovery.
That dude's movement and shit. It was a flash KO for sure. You know what I mean?
But it was
the dude dropped
elbow.
And then was up. But he flatlined you. You know?
That was
spinning elbow
awesome.
I hope both those guys can improve because I think they're pretty much I mean, I don't know about future, but they're our nearest future of that division. You know what I mean? Like those guys are the nearest future of that division. I think they're going to be the ones competing and running it now that John Jones is up at heavyweight, and these guys are going to be.
John Jones is
we're never going to fucking see.
We're
never going to even fucking see John Jones fight again.
No, probably not.
No, we won't.
And that's that. So, like, which is sucks to say because
I'm never talking about that dude again after this, dude. Like, I'm so over that guy.
Yeah.
How many times have we got to do this shit? Just like Connor, man.
I know.
It's like,
I know. At least we've seen Connor fight recently.
Yeah.
Even with the more disappointing thing with John is he's the best ever. Yeah. And he could continue to be the best ever for the foreseeable future.
He keeps getting in his own way.
Instead, he's a fucking idiot. You know, it's like
I know.
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir there, home skillet.
Yeah, I know.
Also, another thing that Trent and I had talked about, Jeffrey, before you came in and before we got the podcast started, it sounds like Khamzat Chimaev, his next fight's going to be against Nate Diaz. That's Nate Diaz's last fight on his UFC contract.
I don't think it's actually going to happen because Nate said that he's not interested in anybody that's not top 4 in the division.
Yeah. I feel like Khamzat's top 4. Sorry.
I think
you know what the matchmakers should do, or the ranking people?
They should just
put him
drop
to 4,
everybody.
put him to number 4, and then get that fight and they going. But the thing is Khamzat said he is like, Nate Diaz, you don't want this smoke, brother. You don't want this smoke. And it's like, holy fuck, dude.
And
there's not very many guys that are gonna go at the Diaz brothers, but Khamzat, I'm like, yep, give me a first round submission or a first round knockout.
His next fight's gonna be fucking Neil Magny. That's what
we had talked about, Trenton. You brought it up, and then I was like, that'd be interesting. And Neil Magny has nobody, so I think that's a good idea. But Neil Magny would get.
He likes to he likes to fight quick. So Neil Magny said December 18th. Let's go. Like
good. That's good.
Let's fucking see what happens.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. All right.
Neil Magny's not a slouch. That guy's a dark horse of that division.
No,
people underestimate the fuck out of him. He's a good grappler.
Yeah.
He's always underrated. Like people just don't appreciate him, and he ends up winning somehow against people. And you're like, what the fuck? Like I didn't see that happening, but Khamzat's a fucking animal, and I don't know if he's got it on him.
I don't see anybody really sleeping on Magny, though. I think people know what Magny is.
They might. I just think he's a tough fight for everybody. Like
for everybody,
I agree.
yeah.
He always figures out a way to make it a tough fight for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do you guys want to get into the pay-per-view card for Saturday?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right.
Do it.
Well,
we got Call of Duty coming up, sir.
Yeah, we got Call of Duty that we got to get to because it's almost time, 30 minutes, and then
you guys preloaded?
Yep. Real quick on the preliminary card, the one fight that I really wanted to talk about was Ally Quinta and Bobby Green. I feel like that fight should be headlining the preliminaries. That is going to be a good fight. Bobby Green.
That should be a good fight, but Bobby Green is fucking inconsistent.
Yeah, but the thing is Bobby Green looked really fucking good in his last fight against
really fucking good. Like really good.
Fiziev.
Yeah,
he looked really good, and or really, Fiziev, really whatever. Good. He could have won that fight. Yeah. I picked.
Fiziev. You thought he did.
Yeah, I thought it was
you thought he did, right?
No, I thought Bobby Green won that fight. I picked Rafael to win.
Yeah.
So, but he looked fucking fantastic in that last fight. And Ally Quinta, when was the last time Al fought?
Also, Al dropped some fucking turd fights every so often too.
Yeah.
He
you know what I'm saying? So it's like nobody knows what to expect in this one.
Is it the weirdest thing ever that he's probably gave Khabib one of his toughest fights ever?
Yeah, but that's
he did give Khabib his toughest fight.
I think Khabib just didn't want to. I really think Khabib just didn't want to finish him because of. Like he wanted to make it seem like, oh yeah, Conor McGregor, all this other stuff. Yeah, like this is real gangster. This is real, He
just wanted to fucking dominate him the whole fucking time. Like,
but the thing is we haven't seen Al fight since 2019. His last win came in 2018 against Kevin Lee, and other than that,
Another Mr. Inconsistent.
Yeah, and in 2019 he lost to Dan Hooker, and then he got dominated by Donald Cerrone when Donald was on a pretty consistent run there for a little while, which is weird to say that Donald Cowboy was fucking consistent. But dude, this is gonna be a good fight. I think the biggest difference in this is going to be the grappling. I feel like if Al can get takedowns, I feel like he can control this fight. But if it's a striking fight, I feel like Bobby's going to be he's going to have the upper hand in terms of striking.
Yeah. So. I think it's going to start out as a striking fight.
I'm not going to make a pick in this one. That's just the dark horse on the prelims that I was like, that's a good fight.
I think, dude, Al's a fucking legitimate black belt, like he's fucking so good. I think Brown, black, I think Brown, Sarah,
under Matt, Sarah.
Right? Yeah, Sarah. Like he's fucking legit good, sneaky good. And
no, he's a purple belt. Under
is
Matt,
he?
Sarah.
I think he's brown now. Maybe not, but like, dude, he's so fucking good, dude. And Matt's not going to promote fast, anyways. Like. He's making that he's going to be black belt caliber before he gets his fucking brown belt anyways,
Probably.
That's how it works. But like Bobby looked fucking ferocious in his last fight. And I know it was a loss, but like I came in there shitting on old man. Yeah, I came in there shitting on the old dude. And he was fucking banging. I don't think Al wants to bang with him, dude. If he wins, it's got to go to the ground.
I don't know why he called out. He called out Bobby Green. And I was like, why? Like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's probably some underlying thing, but after his last performance, he looked really good. That was not a guy that after 2 years and 3 years since I got a win that I'd want. So,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a stupid, I don't know. Either or, it still should be a good fight. And I don't know who's going to win it. So
I think Edmund Shabazian and that Imavov is going to be a good fight too, but
I think Shabazian's that's a good fight too.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys want to?
I'm so excited about this main card, though.
You guys ready for the main card?
Yes, please.
All right. So obviously, the kicking off the main card, they've got Justin Gaichi and Michael Chandler, and the only reason why that is because Trevor Whitman, who's the head coach for Kamaru, Rose, and Justin, they're giving him time to go in the back and prep those guys and gal before. Or prep Kamaru and Rose before their fights, get them trained and warmed up and ready to go. But this is a fucking awesome start to the main card. Excuse me. Obviously, we got Justin Gaichi versus Michael Chandler. Last time we saw Justin Gaichi, he lost to Khabib before Khabib retired. And then obviously we saw Michael Chandler fight for the belt earlier this year, where he lost to Charles Oliveira for the undisputed title that Khabib gave
vacated.
Up. Yeah, and vacated. This is going to be an absolute firefight because both guys have said first person to take a shot, like first person to shoot in is a bitch. So I feel like this is going to be a stand-up war. And the one thing that I'm most nervous about is that Justin Gaethje's leg kicks are going to be so significant in this fight, and that if Michael Chandler doesn't do something to counteract that, then he's gonna get beat bad. What I will say is that Justin Gaethje is, when there's a crowd there, we haven't seen him fight with a crowd, like a legitimate crowd, in years. He always gets sucked into the moment. He fights fantastic when it's empty. Like his fight against Tony Ferguson, he withstood the trouble that he was in. He got hit with an uppercut. And then Trevor was like, stop being fucking dumb. Like, what are you doing? Think of your last two losses were because you got roped into a firefight and you lost, which was against Dustin Poirier and against Eddie Alvarez. And one reason why I'm going to choose Michael Chandler in this fight is because we saw Michael Chandler get beat by Charles Oliveira, but Charles Oliveira he hit his peak at the perfect time, and he's looked phenomenal for like 6 or 7 fights in a row. and he's just looked absolutely fantastic. Michael Chandler, I feel like he can withstand that damage, and I feel like he has the power that can match Justin Gaichi, which is something that Justin Gaichi is not used to. And I feel like Chandler's going to get this win. Also, I feel like Chandler's been in, even though he was in Bellator, he still has been in some big fights against Eddie Alvarez three times. I think he fought Pitbull, Will Brooks. He's fought some really tough guys, Benson Henderson, and he's gotten it done for the most part, more times than not. So I'm going to go with Michael Chandler in this fight. I love Justin Gaichi, so it's hard. This fight is a hard pick, and I know I made it sound easy, but I'm going to go with Michael Chandler in this fight because I feel like he's going to bring it just like Justin's going to bring it, but I feel like he's going to withstand that firepower.
This one is so hard for me. I'm a huge fan of both guys.
Same.
I really don't even know who to choose. I can see it playing out like a quick fucking KO on either side, really.
I can't.
But I also can see a fight where Michael Chandler just has more tools to win. He's not like, if he gets rocked and gets put into danger, he will shoot to take down.
Yeah.
And if he can get Justin down, his submission game's pretty fucking nasty himself. He's got a lot of submissions under his belt. Chandler? Yeah.
Yeah. That was another thing. I think the deciding factor will be the submission game. He almost got Charles Oliveira in a fucking guillotine.
Yeah. I mean,
that's pretty hard to do.
He's got good ground game. He's fucking nasty. His power is insane. His speed is what's scary, is more than anything. He's so fucking fast and powerful. Justin Gaethje's got them leg kicks and hands and power and shit and a chin,
and you can't get knocked out.
Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it,
impossible.
I just think when it comes down to it, I think when Michael Chandler decides that his legs are getting eaten up, if he catches one of them kicks and takes his ass down, this fight is Michael Chandler's for the taking. I don't know who to choose. This is so fucking hard.
This is what I'm going to say. Think about it like this. Michael Chandler is not going to let some shit that Justin Gaethje says, like first person to shoot's a bitch. He's not going to let that be in his head. He's going to be like, all I give a fuck about is winning and getting back to a title shot. Yeah. Justin Gaethje is like, all I care about is, well, obviously he wants to be the unified champ, but he's also thinking 50 G's and putting on exciting fights because it's, that's a part of who he is. So, yeah.
Yeah, this one's just so hard for me. I think I'm going to go with
any day now.
I'm going to go with Michael Chandler as well. I think he's too fast.
So that means Jeffrey's going to pick. That means Jeffrey's going to pick Justin Gaethje.
All right. So, no, I can see this thing playing out two ways, right? Like, the way that Gaichi wins this is he gets a knockout round 2. Like, the thing is with Gaichi is like, no, he's not impossible to knock out, but he's been proven damn near impossible to knock out. Like, he's fucking eating some goddamn shots.
Yeah.
And Chandler's been stopped 4 out of his 6 times has been stoppages. 4 out of his 6 losses they've been stopped. So he can be finished. If Gaichi's going to win, he's got to do it early. If he doesn't get knocked out by end of round 2, early 3, then it's unanimous decision Chandler.
The fact that this is only a 3-round fight is so disappointing.
Yeah, that one hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna need 3 rounds, to be honest, but it still hurts my heart.
Yeah. I just think that Gaichi's got like a round and a half, to put him down. If he doesn't, then it's gonna be a decision by Chandler.
The thing is,
go ahead.
I feel like I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jeffrey.
No, you're good, man.
I feel like the biggest difference in this is gonna be how Justin responds to the crowd, because he, like, that's one thing that obviously we haven't gotten to see him. We've only gotten to see him fight. Like, he fought in Abu Dhabi with a crowd, but it wasn't, it wasn't like a fucking UFC Madison Square Garden pay-per-view where it's going to be a fucking, I mean, you're in one of the most historic venues of all time. It's gonna be rowdy. Yeah. And we're going to see how he responds to the crowd when, shit starts hitting the fan,
And he can't hear his coaches.
Yeah. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think Chandler should win the fight. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's more talented for sure. But there's a difference between more talented and more dangerous. And I think Gaichi's more dangerous, if that makes sense. Like,
I feel it.
To end a fight right now, I think Gaichi's more dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go. Look, I think Chandler will probably win, but I'll go Gaichi knockout round 2.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. But I don't know, man. Like, I can see that happening though. Like, if he wins, it's got to be by knockout.
I think they can knock each other out. I think it could be quick either fucking way, to be honest. I think with Chandler's power and speed, that's a scary fucking combination. Yeah. And Justin Gaichi with his wear and tear fucking leg kicks and debilitating leg kicks and fucking power in his hands. And the fact that he's got height advantage, and it could be that could help too, even though it didn't help Dan Hooker much, but
yeah,
whatever.
Well, he's got a height advantage, but he's doesn't have a reach advantage.
No,
Chandler has a longer reach.
But still, like, with his height and the way Gaichi stands up and down like that, it could still be a problem for Chandler, because he's got to get into the range of fucking Gaichi to hit him.
I also feel like Michael Chandler has a speed advantage.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah. So Justin Gaichi, obviously, if he catches you, you're going to go to sleep no matter what. But that's what makes him the more dangerous fighter. Absolutely, Jeffrey. You're absolutely right on that. Yeah. I think the speed advantage is, I don't feel like Michael Chandler is going to, like, even though he's been caught in his 6 losses, like you said, 4 of those have been by finish. Mm-hmm. But I still feel like Michael Chandler, being as quick as he is, he's not going to play into the pace that Justin Gaichi wants to be at. I feel like he's going to be able to utilize movement a lot better. And it's going to be, I don't think that's going to be the deciding factor.
That's where the leg kicks come in, take away that movement.
Exactly. I feel like the deciding factor in this fight is going to be, if it does go to the ground, what Michael Chandler does.
Yeah. I think this fight will end up on the ground at one point. Either someone's getting rocked.
It's got to, man.
Yeah, I think someone's getting rocked, or something's going to happen, or put to sleep. But like, if like those leg kicks are such a part in Gaichi's game, if your plan is not to try to catch one of those motherfuckers at some point and just take them down, I think that's a mistake too.
They're so powerful, it's hard to catch them.
I get it, but
the problem is, fast, dude, everybody wants this, everybody loves this fight so much.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna suck.
This one's literally,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
right here.
I don't think it's gonna suck.
I'm not saying, but that's how the UFC, that's how the fight math
equals.
You're like, oh my god,
this
is gonna be lights out fireworks, and they're up against the cage.
They both come in scared to fucking throw.
Yeah, because of that hype, where they where they respect each other. Like, oh my god, he does have power. Just like this whole thing. You're like, all right, well, I can't get caught by that. And then now all of a sudden, nobody's throwing shit.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Fuck. It's kind of sucks that we're going from this exciting fight to, not like it won't be exciting, but in the featherweight division, Shane Burgos versus Billy Quarantillo. Obviously, the last time we saw Shane Burgos, he got an odd finish he got knocked out by Edson Barboza, and it was the weirdest thing because it was like delayed. It was delayed. He got hit with the counter right, and then like started backing up, and then passed out. But in this fight, also Billy Quarantillo, he had a finish against Gabriel Benitez in his last fight. But I look at the guys that Billy Quarantillo's fought, and there's nobody that sticks out. There isn't a single guy that I'm like, oh, that's an impressive win. That's a good win. But you look at Shane Burgos, and even in fights that he lost, His 3 losses are against Edson Barbosa, Josh Emmett, and Calvin Kattar.
They're all
3
wars.
guys that are solidified names in the featherweight division. And you know, he had a wars with most of those guys.
The Barbosa fight was good until that point.
Yeah, he actually looked really good up until that point. And then obviously he's got a win over Cub Swanson, and that's a pretty big.
That's
win.
not an easy task for anybody.
He's beat Charles Rosa, who's I mean, not a huge name, but he's a name in the division that people know. I'm gonna go with Shane Burgos in this fight. I haven't really seen enough from Billy Quarantillo to be like, okay, yeah, I feel like he's got a bright future in this division. I feel like Shane Burgos does have a bright future in the division, and I feel like this is the start of his coming out party. So
I'm gonna agree with you on this. I got Shane Burgos as well. I think that I think that he's the better fighter, in my opinion, and I think that you know, he wants to show that last fight isn't, you know, who the hell he is. He's not going to just crumble like that for everybody or whatever. It was a fucking weird situation. It's kind of a fluke type thing. I don't know what the hell it was. I don't know if he knows what it was.
I think with the weight cut, I think his body just shut down.
It shut down.
It was just a delayed reaction.
I think he's the better fighter. This fight is weird for me too, just where it is on the card. I feel like they could have pulled up some, you know, I think the Quinta fight
could have been the main event.
You know, or like
not the main event.
Yeah, I know
on the main card.
Yeah,
on the main card.
I think that fight could have been pulled up to this.
Yeah.
I just don't think these guys are high profile enough to be on this situation, but I do think it's going to be a good fight, though.
Yeah.
Like with that being said, I do think it's going to be exciting.
They're in the perfect position to have
a coming out party for somebody.
Just a fight of the night. They're in the perfect position to have fight of the night. It doesn't get better.
I honestly think that's going to be Justin Gaichi and Michael Chandler.
Well, I think everybody's got that penciled in, but this one, I think, like, it's just sandwiched in the right place where, like, say Gaichi and Chandler is disappointing for some reason, and then they come out and fucking throw, you know?
Yeah.
Not even that. Just put it this way. Justin Gaichi and Chandler, someone gets a fucking knockout real quick. Okay. That's a KO of the night or performance of the night. And then these guys put on a fucking 3-round war. That's a performance of the night right there, a fight of the night. And then, you know, Rose or fucking Wei Li get like a quick finish or some shit, or it's a boring fight. And then the main event, if someone gets a quick finish there, these guys got a fight of the night bonus. You know what I mean? Like they have a good opportunity because these fights could be finishes with quicknesses. Again, all of them, except for the Kamaru one was a war last time, but you know, history doesn't usually like to repeat itself.
I got a homie that knows Quarantillo and said that his cardio is off the fucking charts.
Okay.
And I've never seen him fight, so I don't know. I'm going to go with Burgos, but I talked to him today and he said that Quarantillo's cardio is just like fucking like crazy. So
okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's see if that plays in a factor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The next fight we have Marlin, Chito, Vera versus Frankie Edgar.
Oh, I forgot about this one.
Yeah. Frankie Edgar, obviously in his 3rd division now, moving down to Bantamweight. Last time we saw him, he got absolutely starched by Corey Sandhagen with a flying knee. Meanwhile, Marlon Vera, he's had some pretty big fights. Obviously, he got the big win over Sugar Sean O'Malley. Got a big win over Davey Grant, which was, you know, earlier this year, which was a phenomenal fight. Got fight of the night. Both those guys looked great. He also fought Jose Aldo, came up short in that one.
Great fight.
And then he's also fought Song Yadong, which is a guy at a Team Alpha Male who looks, you know, sensational. Mm-hmm. In this fight, it's hard to pick against Frankie Edgar, but I mean, the dude's 40 years old. And I know that, like, I cannot be ageist against these guys because
I feel like you can at the lower weight classes.
But with Frank, that's another thing. With Frankie Edgar, it's kind of like, dude, how much longer are you going to keep doing this to yourself? Like, don't turn into BJ Penn, please. Like, I know that he's won some fights. Like, I mean, he beat Pedro Munoz, which is a good win. But and he's beat Cub Swanson. That's another big win. But you're cutting weight to get down lower, and then you're getting starched on a flying knee by Corey Sandhagen, which is a shot that normally you would have taken easily at 145 or 155, and you would have, gone right through it. But you got starched. Like, it obviously was a beautiful shot and it was perfectly set up. But I really feel like the biggest part of that fight was he cut to 135, and you're so dehydrated and fatigued, and your body's just not the same because you suck so much out of yourself. And then I feel like Marlon Vera is just, he's on the up and up. He's on the come up. He's one of those young guys that's trying to make a name for himself. And I feel like Frankie Edgar is that next stepping stone. And I feel like Marlon's going to have a great fight. Frankie is probably going to have a good fight too. I don't think he's going to get finished, but I still feel like Marlon is just the younger guy in those lighter weights, and he's going to be quicker. He's going to be faster. He's going to be more powerful. The only thing is with Frankie is if he can get a takedown and control the fight, then that's what he's good at. That's what he does. So if he starts getting takedowns, then obviously Marlon's going to have a tough night. But I'm going to go with Marlon in this fight.
All right, this is where you and I are going to try to part ways here. I agree with everything you said, and I still agree with you with your pick. But I think I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar. It's a 3-round fight. I think if he comes out here, he knows he's older. He knows he's going to be slower. He knows he's got to bounce back. I think he does go for those takedowns and go for that control and just grind him out for 3 rounds. I think that's what his game plan is going to be, and I think he could do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with Frankie on this one.
Okay.
Like doing some research.
It's a veteran move from Frankie.
On this fight, one dude said, and I thought it was perfect. He said, trying to remember. He said, if these guys were to fight 10 common opponents, then Marlin would come out with the better record, no doubt. But styles make fights, and for some reason, Frankie's probably going to win this fight.
Yeah.
So, and I totally agree with that. I thought about it, and I was like, I mean, that guy fucking nailed it. This is one of those things that just happens. And even though I like Chito, like, he's got 7 losses. We talked about this last time he was on the main stage. Like, he looked good. I've never been in love with Marlon Vera, I think he's great.
With Davey Grant was really fucking good too.
I think he's great, and I think that he's one of those dudes that can deal with those 7 losses early in a career and come back and make that. I think I said that previously. I think he still has the talent to do that. I just think that, like, this is a tricky fight, dude. Frankie's and look, if he was going out against a knockout artist, I'd be like, all right, well, that's all she wrote. But Vera's not like a knockout artist.
Yeah.
So I think he's got
phenomenal striker.
I just think that I'm just gonna take Frankie Edgar. I just got Edgar by decision. Okay. Either way, it doesn't. I don't know, but I just don't see Frankie getting pieced up like he has.
I think he's too much of a veteran to let himself get picked apart, and I think that's the kind of fighter that Chito is a pick apart kind of striker. Like he'll stay at his range and he'll pick you apart from the outside, and that's what he likes to do. And I think Frankie is too smart and too old in the game to know they're like, oh shit, I'm losing this battle. I'm gonna fucking sit back,
Yeah, but I think Frankie's too inconsistent now too. Because
he probably is.
I feel like he hasn't allowed himself to be more consistent because all he's done is every time, like, obviously he won the belt at 155. And then he dropped to 145 because those guys were just that good at 155.
They were way bigger than he was.
Yeah, way
he should have been fighting at 145 his whole fucking career.
But then he fought. Yeah, but then that wasn't a weight class.
I know.
In UFC, it wasn't WEC, but not UFC. And then he dropped to 145, and then it's like, well, I can't beat Jose Aldo. I tried beating him twice, and I can't beat him. And then he fought against Max Holloway and he couldn't be Max Holloway. And it's like, oh, I'm never going to get a fucking another title shot at 145.
We got robbed with Faber versus fucking Edgar.
Yeah.
Too many times in my life. Just because they couldn't have the fucking Cruz. Same weight classes at the same time. God damn it.
Yeah. And then, and then he drops 135 and we haven't really seen anything spectacular out of him at 135.
No.
So
I feel like this is his make it or break it moment. Like, I mean, if you lose this fight to Chito, I feel like you retire. If you win this fight, then he'll have one or two more.
I feel like if he loses this fight, he retires.
I do too. But I think that's the right call.
Yeah, because it's like, dude, you just don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and Marlin's
okay. You're 40 years old.
Marlin's the perfect barometer for that anyways, because he's right at the precipice of being a contender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, that's a perfect gauge of the needle for
sure. For sure.
Yeah. If Frankie wins this, he could go 1 or 2, or he could retire with a win. If he loses, he should just retire,
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Co-main. It's where the titles come into play. We got Rose Namajunas title strawweight against Weili Zhang. Obviously, last time out for both these ladies, Rose, beautiful head kick right up the middle through her guard and clocked her in the face and then finished her on the ground. Weili Zhang was upset with that. She thought that it got stopped early, but she was face down on the floor, on the mat. I really didn't feel like that was an early stoppage, not even close.
It wasn't.
Honestly, I feel like Weili Zhang changing camp. She came to the States. She trained with Henry Cejudo and Davison Figueiredo and those guys in Arizona, either Arizona or New Mexico. I can't remember. But she's training with that team. That's a good idea. That's a good camp. That being said, I still feel like Rose is just that chick. She seems like, based on what I've seen, it seems like she's in a good headspace. She looks crisp with her striking, and I know it's not, a fight. It's just, warming up and training and stuff, but she looks phenomenal. She sounds like she's in a good space. And I feel like that's when she's most dangerous, is when she truly feels like, I'm the best in the world. I'm the best in this division. I'm the best woman on the planet. And I feel like she can be, but she just has to be consistent. And I feel like this is where she starts that consistency. This is where she kind of, cements herself as, I'm going to be in those big name fights or the talks with Valentina, because I feel like that would be a good fight. Her versus Valentina would be a really good fight. So I feel like this is a good start for her. And I don't think it's going to be a finish, but I feel like she's still going to get the win, whether it's a split decision or unanimous decision. She's going to get the nod. So I'm going to go with Rose.
Okay. I love Rose. I think she's great. I think I'm going to go with Weili. I think I went with Weili last time too, and it fucking
I picked Rose.
Proved me wrong, but I think, I don't want to say it's not a fluke. You know what I mean? It's not a fluke that she won that last one. It was a beautiful fucking head kick, and she did it, perfect timing, perfect everything. I just don't know if lightning strikes twice, and that might be a bad term for this as well. Like, I feel like if that fight didn't end the way it happened, that it would have been a crazy war. That's what I think. And I think that's what this fight's going to be.
Rose was pushing the pace and was controlling that fight anyways.
It lasted like 45 fucking seconds with that head kick, right?
I think it was more than that.
I don't think there was like that much. I think it was one of the first strikes she fucking threw.
There was 1:18 into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quick fucking fight.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that Rose came out, and Rose was the one that
aggressor.
She was the one that was pushing the pace.
Yes, I just think that, like, I feel like this fight's going to be a war. I feel like this one's going to last longer. The mistakes will be corrected, and she's not going to. I don't know if she wasn't like underestimating Rose, or more like not really intimidated or anything, like took her lightly or something, not really of a threat to the title. And then it was proved fucking wrong, like I think that this fight's going to be a lot closer this time around. And I think Weili is really good. And I think you're right when it comes to Rose, like you're hoping that she finds consistency here. But I find that when Rose is champ, that's when she's inconsistent. She's better when she's hungry, when she wants that belt, when she's coming up for it. She's
but the thing
scary.
is, she looked really good. She obviously won that rematch with Joanna. She won that fight. She was kicking the shit out of Jessica Andrade, and then she got slammed on her head. She was just stupid in that moment. But she was kicking the shit out of Jessica Andrade.
Yeah. But so did Weili.
Yeah, Weili made it look way easier.
She fucking starched her.
Yeah, but we can't. Yeah, but Kamaru starched Jorge Masvidal, and Masvidal, I get
what you're saying. MMA math, baby. It's fucking hard. Styles make fights. I just think that this fight's going to be different than the first time, and I think it's going to be more of a war. I think that Weili's going to pull this out. I don't know. When she won the belt, I thought she was going to be the future of the division, and then and I've underestimated.
That was one fight.
Yeah,
one fight.
I've underestimated Rose numerous times, and this might be another one, but I'm doing it again.
I hope with you underestimating her that she shows out again, just because.
Well, I mean, it's happened to me numerous times.
I love Rose. I love Rose.
I'm a fan of Rose. I don't know what it is. I think Weili's good. Like I know.
Well, I think Weili's good. I just think Rose is better.
Yeah. Well, she could be. It just might not be her night. Who knows? We'll see.
I have no doubt that Rose is gonna show up and ball out. The thing is, too, is like Weili's gonna show the fuck up too. Like the fact that she was in America this training camp, like I don't really know how I feel about that, because the amount of pressure that China puts on their fighters and their athletes to like, you fucking win and that's it, like there's no or else. This just, you fucking win.
Like Russia.
Yeah. So like I don't know how she would handle it even if she was in China. I just think that's an interesting wrinkle that she had that. So maybe she's more carefree this fight, like less stiff. Who knows, man? I'm gonna go with Rose just because to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, and that's what she did last time. Yeah. So until she's dethroned, then it kind of is what it is. We have one sample, and in that sample, she head kicked that bitch into oblivion.
Yeah.
So like that's our sample. Now, having said that, I do agree with you, Trent. This is going to be totally different. Weili is going to come in with some
even Rose. Rose said that. Even Rose said it's like I don't. It's not like I'm anticipating that I'm gonna.
Finish her,
that
like
same
a quick
thing's
easy
gonna
fight
happen.
again.
It's like obviously I'm expecting the best Weili to show up because obviously she wasn't anticipating
in those moments. I almost always go with like the person who just lost it, because that extra fucking hunger to get it back, like knowing that this is probably one of your only opportunities, like you're ever.
So are you going for Weili or are you going for Rose?
No, I'm going for Rose. I'm going for Rose. I'm just saying, I think Weili's gonna fucking hang in there, and it would not surprise me if she fucking won by decision at all.
Yeah,
like it.
I don't feel like she's gonna finish Rose because
no,
we haven't seen Rose get finished very much, except for when she got slammed on her head.
I don't think I see a finish either. I think it could be a decision, but the only thing that scares me about it more than like another finish from Rose to Weili is that Rose is so long and like lanky, and her striking is fucking phenomenal. So she could keep her away at a distance and pick her apart like she did Joanna too.
It's not Joanna's tall. She doesn't have a traditional striking style. Yeah. It's like she has a very good kickboxing, which obviously Pat Barry being her fiance.
And people forget her ground game's fucking disgusting too.
I mean, she submitted Michelle Watterson and Paige Van Zandt, I'm pretty sure.
Rear naked choke from that chick is scary.
So if it goes to the ground, dude.
It's over.
Yeah,
over.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's why that's the reason that I went with Rose right there, is because if it even sniffs the ground, It's fucking
Yeah.
off to the races.
I just don't know if Rose is that good at takedowns to take her down like that. Like,
No,
at
but
will.
Oh,
if it
dude, I
doesn't-
think
that,
she
you know?
is. I think she is. I mean,
I just
dude.
think Whaley is the stronger. She's
Yeah.
way fucking stronger.
Yeah.
Like,
She
there's
should,
no doubt
she
about
should
that.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she is. Like, you could just tell that she is stronger.
I mean, she was chucking around Andrade like a little
Yeah.
kid,
And Andrade was
just a
chucking
fucking
around
take.
fucking Namajunas.
Rose, yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, like, so it's not going to be, it's going to be a strength versus finesse thing.
Yes.
The person
Usually
who has
finesse wins.
Usually finesse wins. Obviously, there's times where strength just is overpowering, but I feel like finesse is going to be the biggest difference in this fight again. So that's.
I mean,
that's
I understand I'm the outlier here, and this is a risky choice, but I don't know.
I don't think it's risky, dude. She
I
was
don't
the
know either.
champ. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I'm not saying it's risky. I just think that Whaley is very one-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't normally pick like one-dimensional fighters because I think they can get exposed in the right situations. Granted, it's hard as fuck to expose that flaw,
Yeah.
but it's still a flaw, you know? So I'm just gonna go with Rose, dude. But I wouldn't be surprised if Whaley fucking kicked the shit out of her, you know?
Yeah. All right. The main event. Colby Chaos Covington versus Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare. Usman. 2. I will be 100% honest. I'm more excited for Justin Gaichi versus Michael Chandler than I am this one. Kamaru Usman is the most active champion that we've had in the I say we've, but as you know, people that watch UFC, like, he has been the most active champion that the UFC's had in years. I don't even remember the last time that we had that there was a champion in the UFC that was as active as Kamaru.
And you know why that's weird? Because Kamaru Usman before the title was not very active.
No, but he
on his come up, he was fucking fighting like once a year. Fucking,
once a year. Yeah. So I'll give him props. Obviously, you look at who he's fought. Like, I mean, he won the belt against Tyron. He had his first title defense against Colby. He fought Jorge Masvidal. He fought Gilbert Burns. He fought Jorge Masvidal. But you look at his last 2 fights, and since he went out to Denver to train at Onyx with Trevor Whitman and Justin Gaethje and Rose Namajunas, dude, his striking is so good now. His jab is one of the best weapons in mixed martial arts right now. His jab is so good. I really don't even think this is going to be a close fight. I think Kamaru Usman's going to absolutely demolish Colby. Colby's last fight was against Tyron Woodley, and then he was just like, I'm not fighting until I fight for the title again. And then the UFC was like, okay. And then the UFC was like, all right, so Kamaru, you have to fight this guy again. And the only reason why is it's publicity. It's the fact that their fight was so good last time. There was no fucking way in hell that you have a rematch that is as good the second time. Like,
I agree.
You will never see Joanna.
I don't think it'll never be another like 4-round fucking war or whatever.
No.
5-round war, you know?
Yeah. So I feel like Kamaru, his striking is going to be the difference maker in this fight, because Colby, he's a pressure fighter. Sorry about the fucking squeaky toys in the background, boys.
It's all right, man.
He's a pressure fighter. He pushes the pace. If you think that Kamaru's not going to, like, he's training in fucking Colorado. If you think that he's not going to be prepared, you're sorely mistaken. And also another thing, this is another way that I've looked at it. Kamaru keeps talking about he wants to box fucking Canelo. Well, guess what? You lose this fight, you're not even gonna sniff Canelo. Kind of like Conor losing to Dustin Poirier. You thought that you were gonna fight, you were gonna get through Dustin, and then you were gonna go fight Manny Pacquiao, and you way overlooked it. And then guess what? Manny Pacquiao's retired now. You'll never get that fight. You were way overlooking. So if Kamaru, I really hope Kamaru does all the right things and he doesn't overlook Colby. Kamaru said the right things. He's like, you know what? I may not like the guy, but I respect him nonetheless. like we were in a war. I know that he's going to bring it just like I'm going to bring it. So I know that they're both prepared to go to war again, but I feel like Kamaru is just, he's shown that he's gotten better as the champion. Normally you fucking fall off. You don't get better as the champion. You either stalemate or you decline. You don't get better. He's gotten better. So
he's the only one that kind of took that GSP route.
Yeah.
Like GSP was really fucking good, and then he was champ and got better. Like there not very many champions get better as the champ. You know what I mean? Like you can think of like GSP and fucking, I guess arguably now Khabib, because Khabib started fucking finishing dudes as champ. But like not very many people get better like that. You know what I mean? Like they just kind of stay, like you said, stagnant. They stalemate right there. And I agree with you.
It's just like a plateau. Like it's like, okay, well, what's next for me? It's like, dude, you still got motherfuckers that are hungry. So you need to get back on that bike and start riding. Mm-hmm. That's what Kamaru's done. And that's, people might not like him. Like, I get it. He says some cringy shit, like nowhere near as bad as fucking Henry Cejudo. But but Kamaru Usman, like, he tries to talk like this game, like he's, you don't have to talk, Kamaru.
Mr. Smooth type fucking.
Quit being this fucking LL Cool J guy. Just go out there and show them. Like, you don't have to talk. Just do it.
I agree with you. I think Kamaru Usman's going to win this fight. I think he's improved the most. And obviously we haven't seen what Colby Covington has improved or not. But if he doesn't come in more improved like Kamaru has, it's going to be a fucking problem for him, because we've seen that Kamaru Usman's proved. He's got fucking like nasty hands now. He's got KO power.
He still has 100% takedown defense.
Yeah, he's not afraid to sit down on a punch and fucking put your lights out now. Yeah. Like, he's got that confidence from the fucking Masvidal fight. Like if this fight turns into another stand-up war and they're banging like that, who's to say that he won't sit down on one of these punches and just fucking put his lights out? You know what I mean? Like, that's a scary guy now. Like a guy that's not afraid to throw heavy hands at this point. Like, I understand that it's probably not smart to come out hot out the gate like that, because Colby Covington's cardio is like second to fucking none, but cardio doesn't help too much when your lights get shut off. So it's, I feel like Kamaru's got the more opportunities to win this fight. He could win like last time, or he could end it quickly. And I don't see how Colby Covington wins this fight other than a grindy ass 5-round war, because I don't think it's going to be a war. Yeah, I just don't think he could take him down. I don't think he, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see how Colby wins this fight outside of completely like just winning the judges, but you got to beat the champ to be the champ. We've seen that. It could be a close fight and you're still not going to fucking win it. You know what I mean? You got to fucking dominate it. And I don't see how he dominates it.
Jeffrey, I'll let you speak your mind, and then I'll tell you how I think Colby can win this fight.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Obviously I got Usman too, man. Dude, that last fight was such an OG gangster, like classic fight, man. That you're probably not going to get a second one. That's just, it's how it goes. But look, Usman's gotten so much better, dude. And like you guys, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but like it's apparent that he's gotten exponentially better as the champion, and that's fucking so scary, for everybody else. Now, having said that, dude, if Colby shows up and he's unlocked like yet another level of cardio, like who fucking knows? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, is it likely? It's probably not likely, dude, but he could, if he outworks him, if his footwork, if he mixes some fucking, mixes his footwork up, does a little fucking TJ Dillashaw fucking, bullshit. I'm not saying he's going to knock him out, but if he tags him 3-4 times around, that's all it takes, as long as he's not getting caught up and hit. So like, yeah, I think Usman 99%, fucking runs away with it or starches him. But dude, Colby is not people just hate Colby because the same way people hate Usman, right? People hate Colby because Like
You
he's
say
got
stupid
this
shit
thing.
that's like weird and just dumb.
And so like both of them are not the most likable people, but Covington's a bad motherfucker, dude. Like he is so good and he can take so much damage. The question to me is not even more along the lines of can he take shots, is does he want to take those
Yeah.
shots? Because
I can tell you right
he broke
now,
his fucking jaw, right? Or his
Yeah.
nose, or
I'm
like
It was
his
his
jaw. I
jaw.
think.
He
I'm
says
sorry.
he didn't, but he did.
yeah,
he
he
broke his
did.
jaw.
I'm 250
wanna take
fucking
that
pounds,
again?
and I don't want to
Yeah.
get hit by a 170 pounder named
Yeah,
Fuck
Kamaru
no.
Usman.
But you know, like that's the question to me. It's not so much as can he? We know he
No.
can.
Yeah.
Does he want to? Or is
Yeah.
he willing to do that? Because that's what it's going to take to win this fight.
So the way that I see if Colby, like I'm not picking Colby to win because I just don't foresee this happening. But the way that Colby would win the fight is slow the fuck, like even though he's push the pace fighter, slow the pace way the fuck down because he knows he's not going to get tired. But do punches and bunches, almost like what he did to Robbie Lawler. And it just be like, even if he's not throwing punches for power, he's still pushing the pace. And it's like, okay, this is fucking boring because you're not even doing damage. You're just throwing punches because it shows that you're being active and you're winning.
Yeah.
That's how I can see him.
But
yeah. I don't think Usman. I think Usman would be like, you know what, fuck it. I need to go out on my shield here. And he would just do everything in his power to just finish.
Yeah.
Whereas Robbie Lawler did not do that.
What you just said is exactly what I meant when I was saying, you know, like I didn't mean like TJ Dillashaw movement. I meant like get in there, throw a couple fucking feints, hit onesie twosie, throw a combo, a couple kicks, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again.
Like,
you know,
TJ
like
Dillashaw mixed with Nick Diaz, you know, like throw your punches at him and then get the fuck out and throw some more punches at him, get the fuck out.
Roll out of your punches. Don't stand down the fucking pipe and eat a fucking straight right.
He's gonna take I'm not even worried about the straight. What I'm worried about for Colby's sake is the jab. The jab is dropping people. And obviously the straight is what put Kamaru, or that's what put Jorge away. But
and that's what broke his jaw, I think. Was a straight right.
Yeah, it was a straight right. It was a straight right. But he had also taken 150 fucking shots before that to the face.
Yeah, but I mean, I just meant like powerful shots. I'm not saying his jab's not fucking legit because it is, but dude, he hit so fucking hard with that right hand. And you just know that like Colby knows, dude, like I can't eat those.
Yeah.
Like,
like
he's
got a circle to his left.
Yeah, like 0 of them. Like
the whole fight.
Not one, but like fucking none of them. And he's just got to move and he's got to keep up that pace. And I think like if I was Colby Covington, like that's the only way I'm going to win. Yeah. So he knows that. He's probably out there with Cameron Haynes running fucking more marathons or whatever the fuck he's doing. If his hands don't break, if he stays healthy, if he moves around, if he's that type of fighter, he could win. It's not like
this will be my ending point for the podcast. It is, I am, as someone, like obviously we're avid fans, I am more afraid of Kamaru's one punch power than I'd be more afraid of getting finished by Kamaru because he has that power and he showed that he can put people away. Whereas with Colby, I'd be afraid that you're going to wrestle fuck me until I can't breathe anymore because I'm so tired from your top pressure. That's what that's what you have to worry about with Colby. You don't have to worry about that with Kamaru. Kamaru's not going to smother you. He's going to just finish.
The shitty thing for Colby is that he's not going to be able to do that against Kamaru because Kamaru is so goddamn strong.
You're not going to take him down. You're not going
to wrestle fuck Kamaru Usman. Get out of here, you know? Like, so he just
we haven't really seen Kamaru on his back because it's never really fucking happened.
He's got 100% takedown.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But if anybody did get him down, we don't know what the fuck he looks like down there. He might be shit off his back. Who knows?
Maybe that's the reason why he's gotten so good at takedown defense because he knows if he goes to his back, he's gonna be like a fucking turtle, and he's gonna be like.
Wouldn't that be wild if he just slips or something, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, he knows no jujitsu.
Yeah, this is not good.
Like he's a no belt.
Yeah.
You know? Like 0.
What belt are you? I'm a yellow belt. The piss that rolled down my leg.
Not good.
Do you guys have any final words for the podcast?
Nope.
Not really. I'm pretty fucking excited about it, and I hope this one tops the last fights we watched, because if that's the case, fuck, dude.
I mean, our H-bomb ratings last, like I said, we gave the last card pretty high.
I'd give it like a 4.8. Dude.
I gave it like a 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.8 for me. That whole fight card was fucking stacked besides that heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough for me to be like, well, fuck that shit. And I think I rated it like an 8. It would be a 4.5, but I rated it like a 4.8 because it wasn't a pay-per-view. That bitch was freezies, dude.
I give it a 4.5 because we almost watched a murder happen too.
Yeah. Well,
so
I mean, as shitty as that was, and like, I mean, the dude still fought.
Yeah,
it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, but it's still fucked up.
I mean, 100% they should have stopped it. 100%. But I'd be lying if a little part of me wasn't like, yo, this is fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. I want to see what happens.
All right. I guess that's gonna do it for this episode. I'll be 100% honest, boys. I'm really glad that we're all back.
Thank you, man.
I know that it's very few and far between because just life right now. But it feels good to do an episode with everybody because last week was fucking boring.
I busted my ass to try to get all the
kids to bed and
to get the kids to bed early. Like Brixton actually fell asleep pretty early because I laid with him until he fell asleep and I snuck out of bed. And then I tried to set up the baby cams and shit like that and clean the cribs out. So that we could put them in their cribs for the first time. I tried to do all that shit all before Lacey even got home from work.
Yeah.
So that I'd have some free time. I just didn't think I'd be able to get Brixton to bed early as I did. So I was like, I might be fucked.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Like seriously. So thanks.
Of course, man.
Because it's a lot better and it's a lot more fun when all of us are here to talk fights. So
it definitely is.
Yep.
All right. Again, check out our YouTube, Lay and Pray MMA podcast. Check out our Facebook page, same thing, Lay and Pray MMA podcast, and check out our podcast. It's in like literally every podcast platform right now. So make sure to go check us out there. And until next time, I'll talk to you boys later.
Sweet.
Later.
All right. See ya.